It's green to go. So, as always, just driving here this morning and knowing that I was going to be with all of you today fills me with such gratitude. So my commitment to being, hi Arlene, my commitment to being a voice for gratitude today is to create an experience of gratitude. So, got some things. These are for you to keep. You don't have to give them back. I'm going to take one. So, the title that I sent in over a month ago, knowing that I was speaking today, it just popped into my mind, and it's The Heart of Gratitude. And so, not all of you have seen this yet, but you will be getting one in a moment. I'm giving a heart with a keyhole and a key. And as soon as everyone has one, we're going to do a little exercise to open our hearts to gratitude. And this will then serve as a reminder for you that gratitude is not something that we do, although it's seen in our actions. Gratitude is a state of being. Gratitude is an energy. And I learned a few things early on when I was very young. I learned about please and thank you, the magic words. I think there may have even been a television show on, I don't know if it was Romper Room or some other television show where those words were spoken frequently. And so I've been in my life very, very good at saying the words. But there are times that the separation between our heart and the words is the biggest distance you can imagine. And so how is it that we align our hearts, our minds, and our bodies so that every action we take offers us the opportunity to either be an expression of love, an expression of gratitude, or it offers us the opportunity to see how we are closing the stream of love and gratitude in our life. Does everybody have a charm? Yay! So I'd just like you to take a moment to close. And does everybody's charm have a key attached to it? Okay. So I'd like you just to take a moment and close your eyes and take a few conscious deep breaths. Easily and effortlessly following the path of your breath as it enters your body through your nose, circulates throughout your body, and leaves your body through your mouth. And now focus your attention on your heart. And if there are any places where your heart is closed, imagine that with the charm you're holding in your hand and with that key, you can gently open your heart, expanding your capacity to be, give, and receive love. And as we're here together this morning, listen with your inner ear. and allow whatever words come from my mouth or whatever thoughts enter your mind, allow those words to be connected in body, mind, and spirit with you. And now take a full cleansing deep breath, opening your eyes, wide awake, alert. And I'm going to tell you some gratitude stories. The reason, first I'll say this, the reason for opening our hearts is when our hearts are open, it allows the love, the gratitude, the appreciation from the outside in, and it allows our love to flow out. And I'm just going to give an example. When Jane came off the stage this morning, and there was some giggling, and then she sat down, and there was a moment of some applause, and she turned around and she said, "Thank you." You know, how often in our life do we not take in the gifts that we have? How often when we're given a compliment, and I noticed myself doing it this morning, somebody mentioned to me, "Oh, I really like what you're wearing. I like the colors." And I proceed to say, "Oh, I've had it for a lot of years. I've washed it many, many times." You know, like it's not as bright as it was when I got it. You know, how many times on automatic do we shut off the flow of gratitude, of recognition, and love? Because sometimes we're uncomfortable in standing in the presence of that, in feeling our bodies tingling, in really breathing it in. How deep is our sense of I'm not enough or I'm not worthy that we shut off the flow of recognition and gratitude in our lives? In simple, this was simple. This was not earth-shattering, someone saying, "I like the top that you're wearing." And yet, day by day, when we don't allow ourselves to truly breathe in the gifts that are available to us, whether that's our health, a roof over our head, heat that works, a car that runs smoothly, how often do we shut ourselves off from truly feeling a sense of gratitude? So this morning, as I was getting ready to come here, an old story that I actually wrote about and experienced about 20 years ago popped into my mind. I wrote a book in 2002 called Choose Peace and Happiness. And in the book, there's a story that I lived through on a Labor Day when I was driving in a little sports car with, at the time I had a big Old English sheepdog. The top was down, and I was driving from Connecticut back here. And I got to a toll, and because I rarely was on the highway in this car, I didn't have an easy pass. So I was on the line to pay cash, and there was a really long line over Labor Day weekend. And so I got this nudge, and the nudge was, pay the toll for the car behind you. And because when I had written this book, and there was a chapter titled Random Acts of Kindness, I had made a commitment to myself that whenever I feel that nudge, I'm going to follow it. And I didn't feel it 24 hours a day. Sometimes it was just very, very clear in my mind. So I decided I was going to pay the toll for the car behind me. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and I'm making up a story about the people in the car. Well, it looks like they're a family. It seems like there are two kids in the back, and the parents in the front, and I bet that when they get home, they're going to say that somebody paid their toll, and that's going to be the ripple effect of random acts of kindness, and I am doing this great act. When in the midst of how good I feel about doing this and how great I'm sure they're going to feel in my story, a big pickup truck tries to cut in front of me, and I become a Manhattan cab driver. I'm not letting you in front of me. Who do you think you are? And I do not let this truck in front of me. And I'm someone who out here in summers, I allow people to make left-hand turns. And so now I'm in this big dilemma. What am I going to do? Because I don't want to pay the toll for this person and reinforce, because I've taken a lot of psychology courses, and reinforce that terrible behavior. And so I'm dealing with myself. There's still a very long line, but you made a promise that when you feel that nudge, and I hear this voice in my head that's saying, pay the toll for the car behind you. Pay the toll for the car behind you. So I pay the toll for the car behind me, and I'm not looking at who's in that car. And I just take off. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't have any great story about how this person is now going to spread the ripple effect of my great kindness, because they're so appreciative of this. And so I've written about this story, and I've laughed at myself about this story. But this morning, when it popped into my mind, was the first time I truly saw the gift of this story. This story, this experience, showed me the ways that I put conditions on being kind. I mean, I certainly wasn't kind in my cab driver role. It was 20 years later, it occurred to me, there's a gift in this. So when we express our gratitude, when we have the courage to keep our hearts open, one of the dangers is that the love coming in is going to bump up against a wound or a scar of a hurt that we're still attached to. And the hurt could be from 50 years ago. The hurt could be from 10 minutes ago. And it's not always comfortable when we feel that heartache and that pain, and the story is so alive in us about how nice I am, but look what was done to me. And so the heart of gratitude lives in love. It lives in forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves for forgetting that we are one. Even though it looks like we're separated, we are so connected. I exhale, you walk past my exhale. Not only are you breathing in air, you're breathing in the vibe of that exhale. And so what we think, how we feel, what we say has an enormous impact. And it seems as though what the world is calling for these days is greater love, is not blaming, is not having a clear story about who's right and who's wrong. It's a remembering that we each have such a short time on this planet. And how do we use it? Do we use it by telling horror stories of our life over and over and over again and feeling the pain? Or do we use it to appreciate, I'm always amazed at that beach right out there, the house next door. that there was no traffic driving here today. That while I've been a nomad for the past almost a year, I wind up in the most magnificent, loving homes over and over and over again. There's a spiritual teacher from centuries ago named Meister Eckhart. And he says there's only one prayer we ever need to say, and that prayer is thank you. And that thank you is a demonstration that whatever we desire, when we're asking in a prayer, whatever we say when we are affirming a prayer, is that we trust and we know that it has been answered. So take a moment right now, and what's something you have never before in your life expressed your gratitude for? And just call out some things. I'm going to start. Light bulbs. Your husband. Great. Anybody else? Toothbrush. Terrific. Your ex-husband. Great. What else? Yes, saran wrap. Good one. Even though it sometimes sticks together when you're trying to cut it off. Yes. So I encourage you that through toilet paper, yes. I encourage you that throughout the day, be aware of what are experiences, people, things that you are grateful for, that you have never before in your life expressed gratitude for. And through this practice, over time, you may discover that truly there's a gift in every circumstance. There's a gift that every person offers to us, and that each one of us is truly a gift. Thank you.